How's it going, everybody? Today I'm going to tell you a little story about three of my hens. That's May, Matilda, and Jean. So those are the three similar looking birds, the black and white. Those are bar rock hens. Now, these ladies were rescued, or I guess you could say adopted. I found an ad on Craigslist. Somebody needed to find a home for them right away. And I was interested, wanted to increase my flock size, so I headed on down there to pick them up. Had a cardboard box that I could put them in. And when I got there, it was obvious that the owner did love the birds and was probably doing the best that they knew how as far as keeping the birds, but I did notice the coop being in the far corner of the yard in full shade on a concrete pad with no bedding or anything. There was feces everywhere. The water was dirty. They just looked kind of neglected. And so I felt even better about the fact that I was going to adopt these girls and bring them on home to a food forest. So I rounded them up, put them in the van, and when we got here I released them. Wish I had footage to share with you guys because it was a magical moment, but I've had many of those with my flock of birds. They just seemed so happy to be here. They were running around, stretching out, laying in the sun, and they did have some chicken lice, which is common, so I treated them for that. Introduced them to their new coop and run, which for the most part has an open door policy, and that was that. Now, when I adopted these girls, they were said to be over 2 years old, and so they're going on about 9 years old now, and they're all doing wonderful. They're all healthy. May, the bird right here in front, I have to say is my favorite of the three. She is very friendly. She likes to hang out around humans. She likes to be pet and picked up and held. She's always curious and likes to hang out around us when we're out in the garden. But she's going blind a little bit. I think she's got one blind eye. I'm not 100% sure, but there's definitely some blindness. And she's a little senile. She'll get confused sometimes as to which way to get into the chicken run. So I gotta guide her in sometimes. She's been stuck up in a tree a few times. I've had to bring her on down, so we've changed that setup so that she can't get up high anymore. But these birds have taught me a lot, and they've been wonderful garden companions. They're fun to just sit out here and watch, like right now. So this is how I might spend my Friday nights. I'm just out here in the garden, relaxing, enjoying watching the chickens. So this girl right here who just flapped her wings, this is Matilda. And she's a strong, friendly bird as well. They're all good egg layers at this point, which I never knew was possible. I thought that after a couple years, for the most part, you'd stop getting eggs, but the reality is that if your chickens have a happy and healthy life, they'll continue to lay eggs until they're much older. So that's the story. I think I've mentioned before, all my birds have come from similar situations, either rescued from animal shelters or adopted from people who can no longer care for them. And I didn't really set out to do that, but it just kind of fell into place. And it's brought me even more enjoyment knowing that, you know, I've brought these birds into this situation, and they've got a good life back here. Anyway, just wanted to share that story with you guys.